So, in our explorations of quantum body and beyond as a field of awareness, where I have suggested in the book that the quantum body is the causal body and is actually the source of all experience, and it is imbued with subjectivity. Not everybody accepts this, but this idea is drawn from the Advait non-dual philosophy of India, but it is also something we can understand rationally and even experience it. So let's start with the cells in your body. Your individual cellular processes like protein synthesis happen in the present moment. But cells don't operate in a vacuum. They receive continuous signals from the body and the environment, influencing their behavior. For example, immune cells respond to incoming pathogens, and muscle cells adapt to exercise stresses. Actually, immune cells is a very good example because immune cells have memory. You know, if your grandfather was exposed to pneumococcus, you, without having been exposed to pneumococcus, have the ability to make the precise antibody to that pneumococcus. But let's go further. So cells are also influenced by past and future. So there are signals from the past and future, anticipating the future, remembering the past, that carry information about the past and future as well. For instance, as I just mentioned, immune cells have memory of prior experiences and exposures to certain pathogens, allowing faster responses upon re-encounter. Cells also anticipate future needs, like when muscle cells begin glycogen storage in preparation for potential exertion. In preparation for potential exertion. And then, of course, there's psychological stress. It's well established that chronic stress can negatively impact health through various mechanisms, including altered hormone levels, inflammation, and change in gene expression. This can affect various bodily functions like digestion, immunity, and sleep. And we know that mindfulness and meditation and practices that involve introspection, self-awareness have been shown to improve stress management and promote psychological well-being, but they also influence the body to function in a way that restores homeostasis and self-regulation and healing. So, everything I've said is a description of a mode of knowing. And that is what consciousness or awareness is. It's the knowing element in every experience. So once again, a lot of confusion arises because in Western science, looking at consciousness, Western science only looks at experiences in consciousness and then calls them consciousness. So in the Western framework, consciousness is experience. Not so. Consciousness is the knowing entity in every experience. Consciousness knows experience. Rupert Spira has done a very good definition of consciousness. He says consciousness awareness is that in which all experience occurs, all experience is known, and out of which all experience is made. You can say that consciousness is the subject of all experience. It's the subject of all experience in all knowers, in all modes of knowing, and all entities known. So consciousness is present as presence in every knowing, in every knowing. And what I described just now, all these examples of how the cells behave, those are examples of consciousness knowing itself as those experiences. Okay, so your body cells are modified awareness. And so is your whole body. So cells in your body, your whole body, your mind, your intellect, your ego, your senses, your motor activities, motor and sensory activities, the subtle activities which we call tanmatras, subtle sound, subtle taste, smell, subtle five senses, the energetic movement of cells, organs, the total universe are all activities or modes of knowing in non-local awareness. And as we go back to the source of our own experience, okay, your own experience, your own senses, sensory experience, your own thoughts, your own feelings, your own imagination, go back to the source, then that source is the source of all knowing in the entire universe. So maybe you can call it pure consciousness, the awareness that is infinite and timeless and divine. But now I think it's clear that your cells are functioning in that awareness and are modified forms of that awareness. And when you get stressed, when you perceive threat, anticipate the future, regret the past, that interferes with self-regulation and homeostasis and therefore healing. How do we handle this? Well, here are some practices that I have found very useful. Once in a while, stop whatever you're doing and ask yourself, am I aware? And then be aware. Or just asking the question might throw you into awareness. But you can go a little deeper. You can ask yourself, am I at peace and enjoying what I call now? Remember, now is not a moment in time. Now is the presence that is aware of experience. Okay, so now and presence and awareness and consciousness are the same non-local reality. Okay, you can even call it God or the divine knowing itself in all these different modes of knowing. In every species, in plants and animals, in bacteria, in primates, in humans, a field of awareness that is modifying itself. But I just gave you the example of the cell. So ask yourself, am I present? Am I the presence in this experience? Am I at peace in this timeless now? And if not, why not? And you'll see immediately that you're either anticipating the future, regretting the past, or trying to decide what you're going to do in the next moment because you're not satisfied with now. So asking yourself these questions will throw you into presence. And when you're thrown into that presence, then everything, what we call the body, the cells, the emotions, the mind, they integrate into a unified experience of mind, body, and universe in a way that is perfectly self-regulating and homeostatic and therefore healing. So let me know if this made any sense to you. Happy to share more.